The Olympics next year will be in Japan. The sport of double Dutch is going to be introduced to the Games for the very first time. Channel 3 Sports Director Joe Zone says the new Olympic sport was inspired by the glory days of double Dutch jumping right here in Hartford.
Speed up! Speed up! Right here! Right here!
When we were growing up in Hartford, double Dutch was everywhere and in the schools. By the time the late 70s, early 80s, double Dutch was like really big into competitive double Dutch and, competing.
The sport was so big, Hartford became famous for its double Dutch teams. It went from the playgrounds to the schoolyards, to the civic center, to arenas all over the world. One team, Black Magic, traveled to London and to Japan to teach Japanese kids how to jump. That, says filmmaker Bridget Prince, is what has led to the introduction of the sport at the Tokyo Olympics and to the revival of it here in Hartford.
And so that kind of sparked a revolution, because I was like, okay, well, 25, 30, 35 years ago, we went there and taught you, and this is one thing that I think we want to kind of recapture, and we want our crown back.
How good were these Hartford teams?
Oh my God, they were fascinating. They were spectacular. It was the best way I could describe it, where you might be able to understand it, and then especially when you see them jumping, it's like the NBA slam dunk contest. When you see it, and then each act, it gets more and more like spectacular and more phenomenal. So they're acrobatic, they're leaping, they're jumping, they're twisting. So it was fascinating.
Prince, a recent graduate of the NYU Film School, is making a movie about the early days of double Dutch in Hartford, the late 70s and early 80s, when it was the #1 pastime for girls not only in Hartford, but in urban America. But the popularity of the sport began to fade in the mid-80s with the onset of drugs.
Crack specifically, and I think that really turned. It did. It was devastating, because a lot of, if you know some of that history, it kind of devastated not only just this community, but urban communities all across the country.
Prince is helping to lead what she hopes will be a comeback for the sport in Hartford. Former double Dutch competitors like Robin Young-Chambers and Greg Drayton are teaching a new generation of double Dutch jumpers.
The speed is like the most important part of the competition. The speed is the fastest you can jump and they count only the left foot. So your team has to be in sync with you for the whole 2 minutes. It's a 2-minute race to go as fast as you can and get as many steps as anyone else.
I'm starting to see it. Like I said, I was in Hartford last Thursday, riding down Main Street. A group of women were jumping. They were in their late 20s, and I have that video too. They were in their late 20s, early to mid 30s.
Prince spent some time in Washington last month at the African American Museum of History and Culture. To her surprise, there is no mention of double Dutch, yet she's petitioned the museum to include one and believes that Hartford's double Dutch glory days will be the centerpiece of a new exhibit. Joe Zone, Channel 3, Eyewitness Sports.